knowledge. And I would like to thank all Dakinis, starting with my teachers, regardless of it was being published or not, came through my experience with Dakinis as a teacher, or teacher as a Dakini. And teacher, of course, literary teacher who taught me ABC of Dharma and gave me nectar-like teachings. Since I left Japan, even before I left Japan, I had a teacher in a different way. All the teachers are part of this journey, my journey, which means part of this book. And also I would like to thank each of you, especially I would like to acknowledge Dakini's Whispers members who somehow made a connection to me and Dakini's Whisper, and then stick around in this kind of small nameless communities and try to participate on a regular basis in this kind of classes or the events. And I just feel so grateful. So without each of you, nothing could have happened. Yeah, so that I would like to say. I don't know how many people skimmed through, or at least kind of smelled of new book, or too big or too thick. I don't know, whatever experience you had. That's I'm very curious about how this book came about and appeared to the readers. As I said before, I didn't intend to write a book, any book at all. If you know me, I'm very shy about expressing my own things. This Dakini journey became very personal in a sense. There was no book to follow. The previous volume 1 was very easy. Already previous master thread and laid out, and so many books and materials. So only 2 persons involved. But this one was really, I had to create, so to speak, my own kind of invention, so to speak. In that sense, I'm just curious about either any authentic authors or professional or professor or genuine practitioner take it seriously, this kind of book, or beneficial to them. I'm not academic at all. This is not a scholarly endeavor, and also this is not a practice per se, like a traditional practice. That is 5 Dakinis, which will be included in volume 3. Volume 2 is really my way of presenting path, Dakini as a path of Dakini. You can say Dakini Ramrim from beginning to the end, so to speak, to the best of my ability, limited knowledge and experience I had. But still, I felt like this is the time I wanted to kind of lay down everything I taught so far, and then put together in a coherent manner and sequentially, so that the reader, like you, including myself, can go through from beginning to the end. Then I use this scheme of view, meditation, and conduct. So in the Mahamudra tradition, any authentic tradition have this. Start with view. In this case, what is Dakini? Presented, like a pointing out. Start with pointing out instruction. If you don't get that, then it has a second part, second perspective, or second approach, or sequentially usually go meditation, sometimes translate a practice, put that view into practice, or how we can practice so that we can realize the view. Then the thirdly, last part is the conduct or activities, how we can bring view and meditation into the world. That's the kind of point of journey. Those 3 things I wanted to mention. When you are reading, it seems like a quite packed and random, all these different, how many chapters? Quite a lot of chapters, right? But in my mind, it has some sequence, logical kind of sequence. At the same time, it's not horizontal. It also go the deeper expedition, vertical line, go deeper and deeper each session. First one is a meeting, entitled meeting. Who is Dakini? So that's the one. Then that refers to the view. So that will start with page 22. So that's the beginning of opening up your book. First, maybe you might have read the invitation. Then hopefully you have some curious about what's this about, or a little bit of background, how this came about. Then dive into the meeting. Because when we practice Dakini, or Dakini practice, we want to kind of have a smell of, at least picture of Dakini, no? Otherwise we miss. Some people might get it right away. Essence of Dakini is ineffable. Essence of Dakini is Prajna Paramita, or something like that. Beyond the word, beyond the thought, beyond the concept. Then somebody get it, but that is very rare. In Dzogchen practice, we call Chikchalpa, means the simultaneous realizer. We wish we would be like that, but not. So we start with that. Essence of Dakini, because essence of Dakini is ineffable, right? Cannot be described, cannot tell this is the essence, this is it. As soon as we say this is it, that's not it. That's kind of paradox, but then there's such a thing called expression of Dakinis. So that ineffable things, it's ineffable, it's empty, yet it's appear in a various juicy expression and in forms. So that I also include those two things. So the meeting starts with those two things, pointing out the essence and pointing out the expressions. So there are lots of my observation and also my encountering a book and text, or basically Heruka Tantra talks about the quality of Dakinis. So I explore those specific Dakini's qualities. And of course, abode of Dakini, where Dakini lives, channel ground teaching, and a little bit of church teaching, because this is part of church traditions connected to Dakinis. Second part or middle part is called embodying. How do we experience Dakini? We want to embody Dakini. We want to experience Dakini, not just only the view. Okay, view is there, we need it, but then we bring it to our own experience, bring it to our own meditation. So that there are lots of different kind of meditation. So I call Dakini practices. Dakini practices, I really wanted the reader to get a taste of what Dakini feels like, what Dakini tastes like. I was talking this as well on interview, but I really wanted to deconstruct or demystify the idea of Dakini. Although, of course, Dakini is ambiguous. Dakini is a mystery. So that's the beauty. We want to learn how to rest in that undescribable, ambiguous things, not knowing mind, so to speak. We don't want to settle into this, but at the same time, we want to experience it. No, we want to taste the chocolate, not just a description of the chocolate. This dark chocolate tastes a little bitter than this, or this is have a lot of good benefit to the body. But we want to taste ourselves and just feel that benefit of whatever, So that's what is the middle part, embodying. That involves the body. Basically, this is quite a chunk of section, embodying the subtle body, how we can experience Dakini in an experiential way, embodied way, felt sense way, is through our body, senses, sense doors, and bliss body, feeling body, lots of completion stage element in it. You will see. That part is quite lots of materials, if you are not so familiar with. But if you are, all of you are in Dakini's Whisper, so you are ready to really dive into these subtle practice and teachings. experiential way. So that is a meditation practice part, middle part. Then last one is called a living. How do we live the Dakini journey? Live the Dakini journey. So conduct, action, the way of life. So anyway, so those three parts, when you read, a little bit of confusing. So this is not something we can finish reading maybe even 1 week. Lots of material to chew on. But if we have a little framework, yes, I gave those three things: meeting, embodying, and living. That might help a little bit.